because it's using a hash table to returning an object, so I need to cast it to a string. Now let's add another class, another control to the project, and this is going to be my settings, my settings control. So I'm going to call it update OpenForce Orlando settings. And to make life a little simpler and not have to type all this stuff in, I'm going to cut and paste. So first of all, we need to go into this new control we just created. And again, change the class that it inherits from to be OpenForce module settings base. And this just gives me, again, a trace back to the correct .NET New core class, which is module settings base. So this inherits from arrow module settings base, which inherits from module settings base. All right. What I need to do is add some controls to allow me to modify my settings. So I'm not using pure CSS, I'm using the tables. Basically I have a control here that allows me to select the destination of my settings. Do I want them set in, saved in the site settings, the module settings, or the tab module settings? And then I just have a text box for the actual settings. Now, where do you store your original values, which will populate the first time you install a module? You know, the settings, where's my default email template that I want to store somewhere? Well, you could store it directly in the page like I did here, or you could store it more appropriately in a resource file, which could be, you know, language independent, and you could have it loaded from there. And in this situation for the demo, I chose to store the settings directly in the text box itself. So what I have here is just maybe a little response that you could send to somebody signing up for your newsletter, and it's just say thank you for signing up for our newsletter. And now you might create a module, let's say, that allows people to sign up for your newsletter, and you might want to put it on different pages and for different sites, on different places, for just different pieces of information that you want people to sign up for. So you might want the templates to be a little different, and where the information is stored could be a little different. And those are some things that you could create in your custom settings. Now let's add some code here. And first thing I'd like to do is look up what I call that value in here. Because I want to make sure that the value I'm reading is the same value that I'm saving, the same key. All right. And probably best practice would be to define a constant for it. Now, in a page load, there's really nothing I need to do. In order to implement settings, you have to override two methods from the core class. And the methods are load settings update settings. Right. These are the two methods that you need to override. The load setting, of course, will display the settings on the page so you can update them, and the update settings will store them back into the database. Now, let's take a quick look at what we need to put in these functions. Okay, so for loading the settings, we want to load only on if it's not a post path. And let's say we have a string. Again, the same way, settings, and using my constants. So dynamic makes it very simple to, retrieve your setting. Again, I need to cast it to a string because it's an object. And assign it to the text box. Then it's going to be email template text box text. All right. So that's just as simple as it is to load the settings up again. Now to update the settings, what you want to do is go the other way. If we don't have an empty string, which of course you'll have a validation rule to prevent that from happening, but it's always best to test also in the back end. Email template text box text. Then now what you'll want to do here to save these settings is you need to create a module controller. Which is in the DNN core. And then just say save or update module settings. And the name, of course, is the constant that I have here. And the value is the text box. Text. All right. Now, one thing that you may notice here is that I saved these settings. So when you read the settings, you just have one, one collection called settings. But when you save the settings, you have to be specific. Do I want to save a module setting? Do I want to save a tab module setting? Do I want to save a site setting? So you have to be very specific as to when you save them, where they're going to go. And in this situation, I just saved a module setting or module instance setting. Okay. This is all that I had to do in order to, of course, I need a module ID to tell it to save. Okay. Now let's go back to the installation itself and see what we need to do in the installation in order to set settings correctly. So one of the things that we want to do is go to the host menu. I'll have to make them smaller so the menu is available. Module definitions.